Day in the life of the Rule Symposium. Let's go. Rule Symposium 2026, leaving the room, 7:05. Okay, that said 7:07, not 7:05, so apparently I forgot how to tell time. All right, now, first and foremost, before you leave your room, make sure you have your meal ticket, like we saw right there. You're going to want to have your breakfast ticket and your lunch ticket to make sure that you eat during the day. So do not leave your room without them. All right, now we're going to go down the long hallway. Make sure the black cat crosses your path once, but don't let him cross your path twice or it's bad luck. No, hang on, kitty. There we go. All right, we're going to be lucky today. Then you go through the double doors, and we're going to make our way down to the convention center. The Boca Raton is an amazing resort. It is truly first class and just an absolute wonderful place to hold this conference. That looks like Rich Checkin coming up right there. Check him out for all your bullion needs. Okay, coming up on the right here is the reception. So this is where you're going to check in when you get into the Boca Raton. We'll pass him down there. And this is coming up what I call the speedy hallway. For some reason, everyone walks down this hallway at about 4 times the pace that any normal human could. But that's just how good they are at the Boca Raton. Okay, on the left there is Callie, and on the right is Barbara. And coming down here, holding the door for us, is Michelle. Without these 3 ladies, this symposium would not happen. So make sure that you say hello and thank you to them when you see them at the symposium. Okay, we're going to hang a quick right here, and then we're going to go into the main hall. And this is where all the companies have their booths, and we are just walking through here on our way to breakfast. We're going to stop by our booth here and drop off our stuff. There it is, in it to win it. And one of the Rule Classroom students made some stickers for everybody and passed them out. I threw them on the back of our lights there. Got a hunch, bet a bunch, and the delta between price and value. Albert Lou, hello, sir. He's getting his coffee before breakfast. All right, here's a little hack. Before you go into breakfast, get your coffee, and here's the ticket, is get your little fruit plate. Okay, so they're going to give you an omelet, and they're going to give you some sausage and eggs, but get yourself a plate and get yourself plenty of fruit before you go in for breakfast. See, they got watermelon, cantaloupe, honeydew, blueberries, strawberries. They've got it all. Load up your plate there, and then we'll head down the hall and go to our company presentation. This is where you pull out your ticket. Okay, so make sure you show up a day early and stop by the booths where you want to see their presentations. Okay, so you stop by the booths where you want to see the presentation, and they'll give you a breakfast ticket, just like this one right here, right? So we see breakfast, room 2, salon H. So match up your ticket to the corresponding room. There it is. Room 2, salon H. John Mark Stouty, Riverside Resources. Okay, we're in the right place now, since, of course, we left at 7:07 instead of 7:05. We're a couple minutes late, but that's okay. All right, so you go to your 45-minute company presentation. After breakfast, it's about 45 minutes long. You're going to go back down the hallway, and we're going to go to the main speaker hall. This is where all the greats give their presentations. Nomi Prinz, Grant Williams, Jim Rickards. Enjoy the presentations. Make sure you bring a pen and paper because you're going to need it. Now I've got to go back to the company floor, and I'm going to be interviewing companies. I like to stop by the booths of the companies that I'm interested in and pick their brain. But I'm going to get back to my booth and do what I do best, company interviews.
Welcome to In It to
Yours is red.
Oh, is it red?
Oh, we got a red one here, honey. That's okay?
That is okay? Okay. I'm
Oh,
sorry.
okay.
I'm sorry. I had
all right.
Okay, well, thank you. Yeah, she's a little gun shy after the whole muted interview. Okay. All right, we're good? Okay, we'll start from here.
Alrighty, we're going to have to edit that part out. Okay, now that we're back on the floor And you have the opportunity to talk to any one of these companies. You can talk to the CEO right in front of you. What questions do you ask? I'm going to go over a list of questions here that Rick taught me, and I'll share them with you, and you can ask them, and it'll give you an idea if this is the company you want to invest in or not. All right, I'd like to start off with, what is your market cap, cash, and debt? Basically, that gives you an idea of the size of the company, how much cash they have, and if they carry any debt on their balance sheet, right? So I think that's a really good question to start off with, and it's one that I start off every interview with as well. Next question is, have you and your team been a success before in an endeavor that resembles the task at hand? In other words, what is their experience and how does it relate to what it is that they're doing now? If they have a history of mining for coal, but now they're looking for copper porphyry, probably not a very relatable task, right? So find out what their experience is and how that relates to what it is that they're doing now. Next question, who owns their company? How much do they own? And do they have any vested partners? So basically, you want to get the pie chart breakdown of who is invested in their company. And you also want to know how much the CEO owns. In other words, if the CEO only has a tiny sliver of shares and he doesn't own very much of the company, then his interests are probably not going to be in line with ours. You want a CEO that owns a good portion of their company. That way they have a vested interest in the stock price rising. That makes sense, right? And do they have any vested partners? So do guys like Rob McEwen or Rick Rule or Eric Sprott own pieces of this company? If they do, these guys are legends in the business and they've done a lot of due diligence to make sure that this is a company that they want to own. Another good green flag, I'll call it, is if they have companies that like BHP, Rio Tinto, or Glencore that have vested interest in these companies. In other words, is it a prospect generator that has convinced BHP to drill out some of their projects for them? BHP has a much bigger due diligence team than you and I do, so just the fact that they are showing interest in this project is a green light. Next question, scalability. What are you looking for? What is your target size? How big could this be? As Rick has taught us, big mines can make you big money, small mines can make you small money. You're going to take a risk investing in these companies. It might as well be a risk that is worth taking, right? Next question, what is the principal unanswered question today? How do you propose to answer that question? How much time will it take to answer that question? And how much money will it take to answer the question? So for example, if the biggest unanswered question today is, how much gold is on the other side of that mountain? Well, how do you propose to answer that question? Well, we need to drill it out. Okay, how much time will it take to drill it out? It's going to take about 1.5 years. How much money will it take to drill it out? Oh, it's going to take about $20 million. Oh, well, from the first question, I know that you only have $2 million in the bank, so where are you going to come up with the other 18? We're going to dilute and create more shares. That's a good question to ask, right? And the final one is, what keeps you up at night? What could go wrong? And what else could go wrong? If you have someone tell you that everything is butterflies and ice cream and nothing could go wrong, that's probably not an authentic answer. But if they start going down a laundry list of problems that could go wrong, that's an authentic CEO. That's a guy that has really thought through this and understands that there are risks to this, and these are the things that could go wrong, and he's being open and honest with you. Okay? So, get down to the meat of it, ask the questions, get in front of the CEOs, and above all, have fun. This is an amazing conference. This is an amazing symposium. You're surrounded with hundreds of people that are just like you and all interested in natural resource companies. I hope you enjoyed this video. I really hope to see you at the next Rule Symposium. Afterwards, we have a fun after party. It is an amazing event and one that you are not going to want to miss. Check out the link down below for replays to the 2026 Rule Symposium.